problems, though, in this event last night.
Well, this will demonstrate that gymnastics is a subjective sport, and when you get a good name build up, even a break such as we just saw there will result in a pretty good score. He got a 9-4 for that performance.
Scores carrying over. He was 6th in the preliminary, so he has a lot of ground to make up here.
Well, he likes this event best. He's a world champion, you know, on the floor, but this is where he really thought he could win a world championship. He's an all-around man. He'll be competing against people here who specialize on just the pommel horse, and that's kind of a different ball game. I'll tell you, he's working the heck out of it right now. Now, he's fulfilled all his requirements, and he's had no major breaks that I can see at all. That's really a nice routine.
Kurt Thomas on the pommel horse. That routine may be good enough to give him the lead temporarily, but still a lot of ground to make up. And the leaders in the preliminary round yet to come. That's a 9.70 for Kurt, so he is in the lead at the moment. However, here's a tough man to beat. Butch Zernick of Illinois, second after the preliminaries.
Well, the United States is one of the last bastions of the individual specialist. He works only the pommel horse, and look at the difference in the body type. As compared to Kurt, Kurt's very short and strong, and Butch is long and lean, very tall. He's working well, too, emphasizing the good height on his scissors. Working behind his back. Now he's going to get out of his routine, and he is really swinging well. Yes, sir.
As a specialist, he can spend a lot of time on this one event, and that time, I think, has paid off. Another good routine for Zernick, second after the preliminaries, and his score 9.70, so he is the leader at the moment. However, the leader after the preliminaries is ready now. Mike Burke of Northern Illinois, who scored 9.725 in the preliminary round.
I tell you, he also won this event last year, and oh, there's the Magyar Spindle. Very tough move, originated by the Olympic champion. This event is a devil of an event to try to double in, winning 2 years in a row. Look at that, the Thomas Flair. Now watch how far he works his hips away from his hands. Gets almost a straight body extension. That's what you really look for in good pommel horse work. Oh, and that's really just an outstanding exercise.
Oh, you've got to love it. He attacks the apparatus. Mike Burke of Northern Illinois, the leader after the preliminaries, awaiting his score for this performance. And it's a 9.85. So Mike Burke of Northern Illinois has won the pommel horse event. Zernick lines up second, and Kurt Thomas third.
Let's take another look at Mike Burke's great performance, this time in slow motion and compared with Kurt Thomas. Even though Thomas is considered an aggressive horse performer, Mike Burke really works with much greater speed than Kurt. In fact, at this stage in his routine, he has already picked up a full quarter of a revolution on Kurt Thomas. Where you place your difficulty is important.
Is the parallel bars, and you're looking at Mario McCutcheon from Southern Connecticut, third after the preliminaries.
A fine parallel bar performer and a really fine all-around performer, too. Would like nothing better than to make an international team. He just had a slight break there in his back summy. Probably cost him a 10th, according to Ken Allen. Press handstand. Now we'll probably be seeing a move called a Stitz, which is a swing with a half turn. There it is, right to the handstand. Done nicely. And a good dismount is going to score very well, Al.
Mario McCutcheon still with a shot at the individual title on the parallel bars. Earlier, Gordon had a chance to visit with him. Thomas after the preliminaries. Here's the mount.
I'm glad to see this routine come up after the little demonstration and judging, too, because Bart has some originality in his routine, which normally would give him a nice reward from the judges. Working well so far. Now, at this point, he kips, he'll swing up, and you'll see him straddle his feet and come down on one arm. Now, he's changed his routine. Normally, he would be just over his left arm and then press up to a handstand on only one bar. He must be fatigued. Now, Al, what that does is it takes away one of the rewards that Bart might get in this exercise. It's a good exercise, but it's not going to be able to score a super high.
I think you hit the key there when you said he might have been fatigued. It's been a 3-day competition. We're at the very end right now, the last event, and Bart Connor perhaps playing it a bit safe. We'll see how the judges looked at that performance by Bart. It was a good one. But as Gordy mentioned, the originality, virtuosity, not there perhaps, a 9.65 for Connor.
It did affect the score, too, Al.
So Bart with a good score, but the man to beat in this event is right there. Kurt Thomas, the leader after the preliminaries, trying to close out the competition with a flourish, and if we know Kurt, that's exactly what he'll do.
Well, I noticed earlier that he's throwing a new wrinkle in his routine, and I'll try to set it up in plenty of time. There's a mount on one bar. Pretty precarious perch, I'll tell you. Now watch him swing. He swings so good. That's called a Diamondov, right to a handstand. Now watch this. A Stitz again, right to a handstand. Back, right to a handstand. That is just fine work. Now watch. He's going to do an uprising to a front summy, to his upper arm. This boy has just really come into his own. And now here comes his dismount, a double off. Oh, yeah, that's one heck of a routine.
That's got to be good enough for first place here. That might even be good enough for first place in Moscow next year. With a performance like that for Kurt Thomas of Indiana State University. Kurt Thomas, America's premier gymnast, closing out the individual competition with a near-perfect effort. As the crowd awaits the scoring, one of the judges has given him a 10. As we look around, the four judges' scores will be combined. Kurt Thomas has won the event with a score of 9.90 in this round. And look at it again in slow motion.
Oh, love to talk about this one. He just puts it right on the money. Handstand to handstand. Now here comes another back somersault. Wrong. It's a Stitz to a handstand. There's the back to a handstand. And boy, what. I wish they had all given him 10. I've never seen a better performance.
So the winner in the parallel bars competition was Thomas. Connor winds up second, and Mario McCutcheon finished third. Now let's reflect back on the other individual events, and we'll show you the results of those. In the floor exercise, Bart Connor from the University of Oklahoma shared first place with his teammate, Mike Wilson. And Jim Hartung, a man you'll be hearing a lot more about, the freshman from Nebraska, finished third. In the vault, another victory for Oklahoma as Les Moore took first place. Sharing second, Steve Willard from Ohio State University. And Ron Howard out of Fullerton State. In the high bar event, Kurt Thomas, who won the individual all-around title last night and the parallel bar event today, won another event. Bart Connor finished second. And in third place, Bob Creek from the University of Michigan. Again, the team title went to Nebraska. And as we take another look at the winners here at LSU, this is Al Michaels, along with Gordon Maddox, saying so long from the Assembly Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Now let's return to